Yeah. It is Thursday, January 15th, right here on Jocks. National championship game just a few days. When we begin to look at this matchup, where it is, what parts of it are we paying close attention to? Where is it going to be decided? I know some of the obvious ones, which is why I want to talk about some different aspects of it. We'll talk transfer portal today. Some of the quarterback rooms around college football look like they are now set. A couple of guys on the move that maybe not anticipated. Some guys maybe we thought would be on the move, or maybe a lot of folks think should be on the move that are not. We'll talk about that. When you look at where this game will be decided Monday night, Greg, where do your eyes go initially between Miami and Indiana?
Number one, how can Miami stop the run with just their front four? It's a next level. It's not, can they stop the run? Can they stop the run? All that sounds great. All that's amazing. But it's not just about just can they stop the run. It's can they stop the run with their front four so they don't have to attribute extra resources to stopping the run. If they have to roll a safety down because they can't get enough guys, now their defensive backs are in one-on-ones, now you're in trouble. So I think that's where it starts, first and foremost.
A lot of people are going to look at the line of scrimmage and say Miami's offensive line has to be successful, has to dominate. How Indiana's offensive line has operated, and can that be enough against that D-line you just mentioned? And I agree, the line of scrimmage is going to be massive in this game. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But I also think because of how the D-line operates for Indiana, and I want to get into some of the details of that, how good the Miami offensive line has been, and then how good the Indiana offensive line has been based on not only are the players that Miami's going to throw at you really good, but also they don't do a whole lot. And one of the strengths of the Indiana offensive line has been sorting things out and how good they've been at not falling for different things that defenses do. Let's say that's kind of a push across the board. Where are we from a coverage, receiver, pass game standpoint? First, when Indiana has the football. Now, their advantage will be pinpoint accuracy and a quarterback that just doesn't seem to miss or make mistakes. Now, the good news for both these teams is they feel like they have quarterbacks that at times have gone out and taken games. But and this is the big thing for me. This is kind of like going back to the transfer portal thing we talked about with the Auburn kids earlier in the week. It's nice to have Superman on your team. It's even nicer to have someone with Superman tendencies that doesn't have to go play Superman every game. And neither one of these quarterbacks has had to. So around them, how they operate versus the opposition, where do you see that playing out? So let's say everything at the line of scrimmage is sort of neutralized. When Fernando Mendoza has the football, how do you like these receivers against this secondary? One, with how the secondary operates. And then two, obviously the level of talent, the players, and then how they operate at the same time inside of it.
I don't love the matchup, but then again, you could put most of the great secondaries up against this group. Oregon, for example. Oregon came in as a top 4 pass defense in the country. Oregon has 2 corners that are 6'1" and change. Granted, young guys. 6'1" and change that have 6'8" wingspans or better. Like, that's length at corner. And you would think length would match up really well against a group that loves to throw back shoulders and things like that. And guess what? It doesn't. Like, they're really, really good. So I do not like any scenario in which these defenders are in one-on-one situations against quality personnel. You cannot cover these guys one-on-one. Translation, you can't cover them one-on-one.
Right.
You need to be able to zone them up, and you need to be able to close those windows, close those gaps, trick them a little bit with some post-snap rotation. Like, there's ways of slowing it down. It's really tough. It's really tough.
All right, so then let's flip that around. I feel like Carson Beck has had to do a little bit less heavy lifting than Fernando Mendoza has had to do. Some of that by design, some of that just with how the games have gone.
Yeah.
And what the plans have been and kind of where they want to live and who they want to be.
Right.
How do you view Carson Beck, the Miami receivers, the Miami passing game against what they will see second, third level from the Indiana defense?
Well, I think the Miami passing games, actually evolved some. I know the numbers aren't eye-popping, but it's been pretty impressive to watch them. Don't get me wrong, Malachi Tony's still the center of their universe in the passing game. But the Keelan Marion involvement, CJ Daniels have been involved. That's kind of it. They don't have a whole lot of depth beyond that. But those two guys can really play big football. Like they can be excellent. Know that the boundary is probably going to be eliminated by D'Angelo Pons. I don't love any of those guys in that matchup. It's not like they have great length. The only thing that concerns me against Pons is guys with great length. So that would be something that I'd be a little bit weary of, but I'm pretty optimistic about them being able to do some nice things. I really am. Like I think that group's pretty dang solid. Not sure that it's 100%, not sure it's 100% that those guys are going to be able to kind of take over the game, but in the event in which they apply too many resources to Malachi Tony, Marion and Daniels can step up and get it done.
Okay, so let's go back to the line of scrimmage. We're talking national championship game Monday night. I just want to get your thoughts on this, on one part of it that I see, and I don't think this makes it definitive. I don't think this says this is where the game will be decided, how it'll go, that there's no way around this, so to speak. But teams have moved Indiana some.
Yeah.
Not necessarily straight back, but what I've noticed a little bit more of is kind of east to west. You go watch closely the Oregon game. Now, Oregon wasn't in a spot to, I think, just settle down and run the ball. Maybe Will Stein could have leaned on it a little bit earlier if he wanted to, but he probably felt where that game was going at the same time.
Probably.
And knew he was going to have to keep up and knew that they probably need to try to steal some momentum, specifically after that first play.
Yep.
But in a lot of the gap scheme stuff that I'm seeing, these guys are being displaced a little bit by their own doing. They'll move on you a little bit. So if you slant to the left and I'm blocking back from right to left, it's going to be a lot easier for me to get you out of the way.
Correct.
That happens at times. The problem is when you make one mistake against this group and you don't get play side on a linebacker, you don't get play side on a D end, you don't get movement on a D end, or you at least get him reached and hooked, like they're showing back up to make the play.
Yes.
One of my favorite plays, I should go find
Strain.
it. You know what? I'll go. And that's the word that I was kind of going to go to. And it's the word that I talked about on my podcast this week, that it doesn't really matter, because I've heard more and more people talking about, Indiana's defense and, it's what is it? 30 pounds they outweigh each guy by? I mean, what are we, 1985? I mean,
I don't understand. I haven't heard that one.
Oh, yeah. The Miami offensive line outweighs the Indiana D-line by 32.5 or 32 6/4, whatever, one of these decimal per
by
man.
8 hands. Like,
okay, great.
Who cares?
I also would like any Indiana pass rusher against Markel Bell one-on-one.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Markel Bell moves people when he gets latched on. I mean, he's a mammoth.
Why are we still talking about the size of offensive linemen? I feel like ever since 2024 Alabama should tell you all you need to know, or 2023 Alabama. Like, those guys outweighed everybody by 1 billion and they couldn't move anybody. Like, what are we doing? Like, why is that still a thing?
Well, they moved them. It's just when they moved, they couldn't catch them. So that was a little bit of the problem.
The old hit a moving target.
Allow me to introduce you to because it's a problem for a lot of people. They can't kind of wrap their heads around it. So I go back to this like new theory that I sort of came to this realization with the Miami Ole Miss game. And what it did is reverse my course on why some of these offensive coordinators, specifically in this playoff, I viewed as getting impatient. And because in that game, Shannon Dawson stayed about as patient as you could, and you went to the halftime locker room after literally kicking your opponent in the teeth for 30 minutes, and you had a 4-point lead.
Yeah.
And even I sat back and thought, is that enough? Like, is what they're doing? Yeah, they're pummeling. But is it just a bunch of jabs? And can you win with jabs? Now, I don't mean that literally as in Miami wasn't tough enough, anything like that.
88 jabs.
It's just
88 jabs against 50 or 60 jabs. Yeah, you can win.
It feels like you can win that way.
Yeah.
But I think Indiana's going to score. Not every possession, maybe not a touchdown every possession. They'll probably punt a couple of times. Miami has playmakers on defense, but I've seen Miami overrun some things.
Yeah.
I've seen Miami gather gaps at times. And I've seen Miami,
I mean, they just got gashed for a 73-yarder last week.
and that was one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, linebacker overruns a play. You get a nice little cutback because you didn't necessarily block things exactly the way that you needed to, and there you go, out the gate.
Yep.
So what does the plan need to be from Shannon Dawson? Does it need to be a little more aggressive than it's been in some of these games, at least opening up, or do you wait it out again, hope that you can play some bully ball, and then say we'll let the chips fall where they may on those last 2-3 drives of the game?
Well, the tough thing is, I agree with you. I think Indiana can and will score. Feel pretty confident about it. Like that I feel
They're just
good about.
going to. I mean,
They're just too good. They're too well rounded. Their quarterback's too hot. The offensive line's too good. They're too disciplined. Like they're going to win some one-on-ones. Like they're going to score. So if I'm Shannon Dawson, I do not want to snap the ball with less than 3 seconds on the clock. Seriously. Like I want to drain this clock to the highest degree that I possibly can. I think your best defense this week is your offense. And complementary, physical, 4 yards in a cloud of dust mentality where they don't, by the way, Miami does not manufacture big plays on the ground. Like I'll pull up my notes from a couple weeks ago. Like we obviously did the first round game. Cole was there too. Like we were both there. And if you look at Miami's offense, they lack explosiveness in the run game. They went into that game with only 52 carries of 10 plus yards. That is 84th. 84th in college football. Now they've had a couple explosive since. They probably had 3 or 4 in that game that went for 10 plus. They probably had 3 or 4 in the Ohio State game, and probably 3 or 4 in the game against whatchamacallit. They're not an overly explosive team. They are not an overly athletic team, frankly. Like they are a big physical mauler. They're not a team with great team speed, which is crazy. It's Miami. They don't have crazy.
Outside of Malachi Tony, they don't have that guy.
He's not even like a crazy burner. He's like a little twitch, dynamo. He's like a little like short area quickness. Like you can't touch the guy. Like you could put him in a phone booth and you can't touch him, but he's not going to run away from you. The guy that burns is Keelan Marion. Numbers like that's the burner. Other than that, they don't have like crazy team speed. But here's what they do really well. Just 17% of their carries go for 0 or negative yards. That's a top 10 rate.
Yeah, that's wild.
So they don't have a ton of big hitters, but they don't lose yards, so they don't get off schedule. And their back, Mark Fletcher, averages over 5 yards after contact per carry. Pretty sporty. Fall forward with him at 230 pounds, and you're going to be in good shape. So I actually think Miami has the correct recipe, because if you go back and you watch, and I've watched every snap of Indiana this year outside of the games against the G5, you can move them.
Yeah. And
I know we say that, look how big. I know it doesn't matter as much. But I think Miami is the correct blend of look how big and just blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
They're going to run duo until they'll run it 15 times in the game.
Oh, if not more than that. And the one area too, what have you seen from Indiana defensively playing screens this year? Like, what is your opinion on that?
Pretty good because of their relentless pursuit, but they get got because they're aggressive.
Right. And I think Miami has almost been overly reliant on screens. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. They're probably the number 1 screen team in the country. And
like we said, short area quickness guys who can make you miss, do different things. Don't want to put a game in a quarterback's hands right away. Plus, you get alley defenders that are leaning in against those duo plays that you referenced. You know why they do it. It's just I wonder now, do you need to get away from a little bit of that because you've done so much with it? The good news is I haven't seen a lot of their screens go for negative yards either. They don't screw them up a lot.
Well, here's what I'll say. Like Miami already passed that test. The best screen defense in the country that I've seen this year, when you take into account their level of aggressiveness as well, is Texas A&M. Texas A&M, for as aggressive as they are, plays screens incredibly well because Torian York does such a good job of identifying them, and guess what? Indiana has kind of a comparable guy. Like they do a great job defending screens. Really, really good. So they've already passed that test. Like their screens were a non-factor in the A&M game. Non-factor. And it didn't matter. They were still okay. They were able to utilize some quick underneath passing game, some hitches, some quick outs, some stuff like that. And I think you're going to have to do that against Indiana. But you're also going to have to hold up and double move them a couple times too.
You're making me excited about this game, more excited. I'm excited to watch it either way because there are multiple aspects of it that I'm really looking forward to. And I'm nowhere near where I was with Indiana over Oregon. I mean, you even kind of were surprised to the lengths that I went on Friday with my confidence in Indiana.
I was confident in Indiana, but I was not as confident as you.
I don't know. I'm not going to pick the game yet. We'll do that on tomorrow's show. We'll do a Monday show, but you are helping me maybe see this game a little bit more closely than I do right now, which I'm hoping for. I want it to be a 4-quarter game. I'd love to have a last possession game just because we've seen what Mendoza has done pretty much all year, and we've seen what Beck has done in the playoffs late. And I just think that's what this game deserves because of how these two teams have played, specifically in the postseason. But where is your confidence level for both right now? Is it about even? Is it heavy lean Indiana? Is it maybe lean Miami?
I think Miami's going to play with them. Like I did, full disclosure, I think most people on this show could probably read through the tea leaves. You were out that day, but like I didn't feel great about Bama's matchup against Indiana. I didn't feel great about
No, the day that the day we found about the game, we did a show together, and we both said don't like this at all.
Don't love it. And look, I'm on this show. I'm never not picking Bama, but I did feel good about it. I think those that talked to me privately knew that it was going to be tough sledding. But in reality, I thought Oregon was going to get sideways too. Like, I really did. I was not confident in that game at all. I told our crew last week, you can ask any of them. I'm like, I'm concerned. This one, I genuinely believe Miami could play with them and will. I just think they're a sledgehammer, dude. That's what they are. They are a sledgehammer up teams. So I think they can go. I really do. Now, it's going to require precision, going to require them being smart and not making a mistake. But I think if they can just junk it up enough, they should be in pretty good shape.
That's our early morning conversation on the national championship game. We'll continue to focus in on that, talk about it, and go to more college football. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. I want to continue this national championship game talk. If this game were to go down, to the wire, if this game were to come down to the last 2-3 down to the wire, if this game were to come down to the last 2-3 5 minutes, 17 10 whatever. 3-3.
3-3?
Like half the nation.
If it's 3-3,
half the nation would have tuned out at that point.
If it's 3-3, then something's gone shockingly well for both defenses.
Which I'm not going to put it out of the realm of possibilities.
Come on.
3-3 seems like a stretch, but I would enjoy it.
Me too. I'd love it. I love the tight ones.
What was the score of the A&M in Miami game late?
3-3.
Yeah. So if we got to that point, regardless who has the ball, Miami, Indiana, who does that pressure mount on top of the most? If we are 3:26 left in this game, one of the two teams is taking over possession at their own 17. 17-17, 3-3, 10-10, whatever.
Yeah.
Who feels that the most, in your opinion?
Well, we were talking in the break about, who gets tighter, who has this. Like, I have seen Indiana go down and put drives together against Iowa and against Penn State to go and win it. 2-minute operation. But that was in the regular season. I just saw Miami go down and do it with gotta have it situation against Ole Miss to go get it. And they got it. And I think sometimes when you put a drive like that together, it can really carry over to the next week with a lot of confidence that, hey, when the going gets tough, we just answered the call. We just did it. So I think it's a really good spot to be in. A really good spot to be in carrying that over. So I'd lean towards Miami in that scenario.
Ooh. I think most people would be surprised by that answer. Now, is this more so that Indiana looking to cap off an undefeated season?
Yes.
8.5-point favorite in the game. Mario's, he's going to be working that messaging this entire week about
Totally.
No one expects you to. I wouldn't be surprised to hear a Miami player, if they win this game, come out and said, y'all picked us to win 6 games, whatever it is that Kirby does to his guys.
Yeah.
And the team actually believe it. But you also look back at what Indiana has done when they've been put in those spots.
Yeah.
And how that's gone for them.
Gone very well. Excellent.
We just haven't had to see a ton of it in the postseason like we have with Miami. But I agree with you. Seeing Miami in those spots gives you some confidence.
For sure.
I just feel like this Indiana team has a different mentality. I just think mentally, emotionally, they're very different than maybe even some other great teams we've seen.
Perhaps. But I also think they have not been on this stage before. That's part of it. They haven't really had to play a tight game in the postseason. Everything's been easy for them. And if you look at the Ohio State game, like Ohio State was their own worst enemy in that game. Like Ohio State was a mess, missing short field goals, chip shots, terrible play calling in the red zone, abandoning like any type of aggressive mentality, conservative play calling. Like Ohio State had no business screwing it up the way they screwed it up. So like it's been a long time against a real team. I'm not sure there's been a time this year against a real team where Indiana's in gotta have it mode. Penn State, when they beat them, very impressive drive. But Penn State, that was the only time we saw Penn State play that way all year. That level of execution and that level of opportunism. So that wasn't really who Penn State was. So I'll be real curious to see where it all goes if it does come down to that, because everything's been very easy for Indiana here in the postseason. Everything. And they haven't tasted their own blood in a while. So sometimes I don't know if that's helpful going into a game like this.
All right, we'll ask you your confidence level on these teams. 800-239-9569. You want to get in? 800-239-WJOX. You can tweet into the show as well. You have more confidence with Indiana, more confidence with Miami. Specifically, if this game were to be tied late and there was maybe a possession or two remaining. When that happens, outside of quarterback, where does your brain go? If you say, okay, there's going to be 1 or 2 possessions remaining for this team to potentially go get it, what do you look at as emphasis points? I mean, do you look at the kicking game? Do you look at a takeover D lineman? Do you look at
Yes,
maybe
take
how
over
teams play?
take over D lineman in that scenario.
Like one thing that I look at for teams is how aggressive they are defensively. If you are an overly aggressive defense, I always feel like later it's almost everybody becomes less aggressive. So if that's the nature in which you get most of your wins, I lose confidence with that group late. Like if you need a stop, 2 stops late to hold on to a win,
Yeah.
I do not want you to be a group that has to do too much up front from a movement perspective, dictate more bodies to the line of scrimmage to be able to get your wins, because I just feel like inherently most DCs are backing off, right? What do we always say about prevent defense? Why are you rushing to? Why are you rushing? Like, just go get them.
Yes.
If that's what you do, if that's how you win, then go.
Correct.
Miami have massive advantage in that situation because they don't really play that way in between the 20s. So that's kind of one of the areas that I look at when you get to those situations.
Well, I also look at it and think when Miami has been passive, like they were first 2 drives of the Ohio State game, that allowed Ohio State to get back into it. Just quick throws, short throws, like all this other stuff. Like they started playing this soft zone as opposed to defend, and it's like, what the heck are we doing? And as a result, Ohio State created a little momentum. All of a sudden, started to make it a little interesting. All this other stuff. So I think it'd be real valuable moving forward if they just stayed the course by, keeping the pedal pressed. That I think is very, very important and valuable. So we'll see. I think against Indiana, you have to be aggressive. You have to be.
Yeah.
Because they'll carve you up.
No doubt. And I'm interested to see if Miami can get home and get home consistently, because I feel like teams have gotten home early against Indiana. Now, situationally, that helps to not be able to get home late. You think about Alabama game.
Yeah.
The sack for first play of the game. Big Ten championship game. I thought Mendoza was going to get knocked out of the game. Was that the second play, first play? I think it was kind of like a half boot, maybe a little bit of a rollout.
The second play, he got popped
teed off
in the
on
face.
And I was like, oh, this kid might be out of the game.
Yeah.
Now played.
Brother came in for one play.
Right.
Gave him a little burn.
So that's something sort of to keep an eye on, is maybe get home early. Can you continue to get home late? Another interesting aspect of this national championship game matchup to watch. So, listen, one thing that you're going to have to watch right now, because it was below freezing when I came in today, is going to be your HVAC. Tell our friends about Polar Bear Services.
Well, they'll come out, they'll get you taken care of. Look, today's a day when your HVAC system is getting put to the test. And Wes and the guys have been helping me out for a long time on days like this. The likelihood of our heater not working was a lot higher prior to us using Polar Bear Services. Now they come out, they've done preventative, they've wrapped some of our stuff outside with foam and insulation and all this other stuff. Like, they've just done a great job. So I no longer sweat it. I never worry about it anymore because it's been taken care of, because they came out, recognized an issue before it became an issue. And that's what Wes and the guys do. They solve problems before they occur. And on days like today, the last thing you want is to walk into your house and to be 57 degrees. It's terrible. Or 47, whatever it ends up being. So make sure that you have Weston and the guys at Polar Bear Services on speed dial. They can also help you with electrical. They can help you with your plumbing as well. So remember, if you have a problem with your electrical, plumbing, heater, air, just pick up the phone and call the Bear. It's 205-497-BEAR.
All right, I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball here. I'm looking at some of these things coming out of the transfer portal, and I'm seeing some confidence in what LSU is doing. Also, I'm seeing some people assume there's going to be able to pull off a few more things in the portal moving forward. Will they, won't they? I've asked Matt Moscona if he'll hop on and talk about their quarterback room, what it is, why it's good, why it's bad, and then maybe what else they might be doing. So we'll do that next right here on Jocks. All right, let's quickly go to the Higginbotham hotline because this was kind of last. Matt Moscana's thoughts on where LSU is in the portal right now, because this is important for LSU. This is important to LSU's opponents. It's also important to other teams that are trying to do some different things in the portal. Let's start with quarterback Matt. Matt Moscana does radio in Baton Rouge. You can catch his podcast. How big of a win from on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being perfect, do you feel back room that he's put together?
9.5. Drawback with Sam Levitt. Healthy. And then Reed, who's actually in the number 3 in FCS that who's guys in
literally the portal guys, lunch pail guy. It feels like all four is brainwashing to think. But how people are now trying to.
I think that Lane has done. I mean, they've got and the elite level, like Jordan Ross. But I think you also see a lot of guys like Jackson Harris and Trey Brown, who are receivers that maybe aren't the Cam Colemans that people would know, but fit the mold of what Lane and his staff are trying to build. I don't know that you could build a class of 30 players if you're going just for blue chip guys, and 5-star guys. I just don't know who has the money for that. So it has been interesting the way, like, a couple of the offensive linemen they've brought, one's from NC Central. They brought in William Satterwhite from Tennessee, who's a 2-year backup. They brought in a JUCO kid. So I guess the point, Greg, is I think they have actually shown a pretty impressive ability to scout at all levels and bring in guys with some certainly big top of the funnel type guys as well. What's interesting though about the Indiana approach, and I agree with you, is when Kurt Cignetti showed up there, I don't think he was going to be able to get the elite level portal prospects to go to Bloomington. So he went and got dudes that were 22, 23, 24 years old. And so he's got an old roster, and it's clearly shown. So if we see anything as far as roster building and maybe a pivot, I think it's that. I think it's instead of guys coaches focusing on 18-year-old high school prospects, you'd rather go after the 20-year-old with a couple of years of college experience who maybe hasn't played a ton and give them their opportunity now as a more developed 21-year-old than trying to bring in an 18-year-old who may not stay 2 years.
Matt Moscana does radio in Baton Rouge, covers LSU, joining us now on the Higginbotham hotline. What do you feel like Lane Kiffin has not done or yet to do in the portal? What work is still out there that needs to be done, in your opinion?
Starting offensive lineman. When this thing started, I was told point blank they were going to add a starting tackle and 2 starting guards. And look at what they've been able to return, right? They returned Weston Davis, who was their starting right tackle this year, and they've returned Braylon Morse as their center. So they need 2 guards and a tackle. And I don't think they've done that. They've added 4 linemen, but none of the 4 guys they've added, I think we would look at and say, yep, that's a plug-and-play day one starter. They've added some depth and some bodies to help remake that. They lost 6 linemen to the portal. So I don't think they're done. On Monday, whenever they landed Sam Levitt, I had a conversation with a staff member who told me a couple of more linemen and we're done. And they've yet to do that. So there's some names that are percolating out there that I think are going to take visits here with the dead period lifting. But I think they still got to add 2 more linemen with starting experience.
Is there any concerns about I don't know, frustration within the players that they brought in that are expected to play? Like, how is he creating competition? Because the way they did it at Ole Miss is that the starters got paid, the backups did not, amazingly. Um, so is that kind of the same way he's approaching it at LSU?
Uh, it's a good question. I think the most interesting thing they did was they focused on retention of a handful of players and they kept all of them. So I'm assuming, and I feel like I know some of those numbers, but names that people would know, right? DJ Pickett and Harlem Berry and Whit Weeks and Braylon Moore, the center, Trades Green. So they focused, I think, financially retention of a handful of guys like that they figured were key guys. But guys, I mean, the entire offense is gone. I mean, you lost 6 linemen, you lost 10 receivers. I mean, they had to remake that whole side of the ball. So I think the the money defensively went to retention. The money offensively went to remaking that side of the ball.
Where's your level of confidence where it all is right now? Lane Kiffin being in, obviously, what he's done in the portal, what he needs to do in the portal, the alignment, the support. Where is everything? I know it's early, but where is it all for you right now?
Well, the alignment and support piece of it. I mean, Cole, they are giving him whatever he wants. I mean, he got the giant contract, but they're paying Charlie Weiss 2.5. They're playing Blake Baker $3 million a year. They've already spent more than I thought they would in this portal cycle. So there's going to be no excuses. He's going to have everything he needs to win. So it's just a matter of when the fall rolls around, can they win? I never really worry about Lane offensively. I think you guys would agree with that. Everywhere he goes, offense follows. And retaining Blake Baker was, I think, really significant because he's continued to improve the defense since he's been here. I mean, it's hard to argue against anything they've done at this point. I mean, they've spent the money, they built the roster, they got the coaches. So, I mean, everything is great. Their honeymoon period right now, but that just builds even more expectations than you would normally have in a place like Baton Rouge. So, it's all just going to come down to the fall, them winning football games, which I know is cliche to say, but it's true. But everything you could have hoped for at this point. He built a great staff. He's got the quarterback. He's built a great roster. Yeah, I mean, it's people are pretty happy around here right now. There's a lot of excitement around the program.
Matt, thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate it. It's always good catching up and wanting some insight into how this is going, where this is. So we'll look forward to doing it again soon.
Anytime, guys. Thanks.
All right, Matt Moscona, Higginbotham Hotline, joining us, does radio in Baton Rouge. Always appreciate his time. I did find during that interview, it's still a little bit odd to say LSU coach Lane Kiffin.
It is strange.
That has not become normal yet.
No, I mean, it won't for a little bit.
But I do want to talk about their portal class. I want to talk in the SEC, Alabama, Auburn amongst them. We'll do in the SEC, Alabama, Auburn amongst them. We'll do that next right here on Jocks. Michael Nisolek coming up in 8 minutes to talk national champion. Continue breaking that down. But we were talking transfer SU. There's some other transfer portal news that we need to get to. Speaking of quarterback rooms, one that is becoming very interesting is out west at Oregon in Eugene. Quarterback Dante Moore announcing, Greg, that he is going to return. Let's just start with the NFL draft. And we had this conversation with Ty Simpson. Is that the right move for Dante Moore, in your opinion?
I think if you're trying to maximize your earning potential right now, it would make a lot of sense to go. Like you're probably going to be a top 5 pick. You got tools. You're going to be in a good spot. But if the goal is to be a high level player in year 5, 6, 7 in the NFL, coming back to college makes a lot of sense. To me, this is all about the second contract. This is about making sure that you're well positioned and banked a ton of college reps before you make the jump, because you're going to be thrust in the starting lineup where he's drafted. You're probably going to start early, which means now you're going to probably play on a bad team and you're not ready. Like I've always said this from the get-go. You watch his tape, it's not what you think. It's good. He's got tools for sure. Very impressive tools at that. But he's not ready. Like he needs time. So if he's going to go pro, he's going to need some time his first, second, third year to sit and wait. So the fact that he decided to come back, I think will give him more reps, allow him to be more physically mature because he's not a huge guy. And when he transitions to the league, he'll be more capable of being a day one starter, and thus success day one as a starter increases the likelihood of you getting that second contract. So I think it's the right decision for his long-term development. I'm just surprised he did it, honestly.
All right, so Dante Moore going to return, and it might not be a surprise if we ever get the details on what it is that he's going to get to come back.
I'm sure he's not hurting.
No, not at all. But Bryson Beaver is going to leave. Highly touted quarterback recruit that was in that locker room, in that quarterback room. He's going to depart. Now, we haven't spent a ton of time on this, but Dylan Raiola is in. It's most interesting because Dylan Raiola is in and Dante Moore is returning. So that means Raiola's going to wait. Now, I don't know if the recruiting pitch went something to the effect of, hey, Dylan, this is what I did. I came here. Guy was coming back. Knew I was going to have to wait. Look at the kind of season I had. You should probably think about doing that too. Based on the things we've seen from Raiola, doesn't feel like that would be enough. I'm most surprised, Greg, that he's going to go sit and wait a year. That's just me. How do you sort of view the Oregon quarterback room in general?
Well, I mean, it is surprising. I mean, there's a guy that has played at how many different high schools?
There's a lot. There's a lot of stops.
Yeah. So I'm surprised by it for sure. But at the same time, like, there is a tried and true method, and it's proven for Dante Moore to be effective, to be really good. And he was able to step right in, knew the offense, knew the intricacies of the offense, and was in a good spot immediately. So I don't hate it. I think it's a mature decision. I just depends on if he stays with it, but
right.
It's definitely a mature decision.
I think the biggest question has to be, is this the actual bill of goods that you were sold when you made this decision, or was it then likely that Dante Moore was going to go to the NFL? Because, like you've said, good chance he'd have been number 2 pick, right? I mean,
yes,
very possible.
Strongly possible. I mean, top 5 pick probably. So, yeah, I can't imagine that Oregon expected this.
If you were wondering the timeline for Dylan Raiola, 2021 Burleson High School, it's in Texas.
Correct. It's where Kelly Clarkson's from.
Learn something new every day.
Look, he didn't do the gesture earlier when he said it. I'm gonna let him have this.
Okay, good. Take it.
Said what? 6'7"?
Yeah.
Did I say it earlier?
It's fine.
Heck yeah.
21-22 Chandler High School,
Arizona.
That's in Arizona. 2022 committed to Ohio State. 2022 decommitted from Ohio State. 2023 Pinnacle High School, also in Arizona. Correct. 2023 commits to Georgia. 23-24 Buford High School.
Georgia.
Yeah. 23 decommits from Georgia. 23 signs with Nebraska. 24-25 Nebraska. 25 enters a portal. And now 26 will be at Oregon. By the way, can you fathom, and I don't understand there are military kids of the kids that moved, but like kind of voluntarily not only attending 3 high schools, but 3 high schools in 3 different states
It's a lot.
on different sides of the country.
How many friends? Like, we do our dragon retreat every year with my high school buddies. We do it every year at the lake. They all come in town, and we are raising our kids together. Like, we know, like, I'm the godfather of multiple children within the group. What do you do if you bounced around a ton? Like, that's a hard on your own doing. It's not like you're circumstantially had to move because of military or something like that. It's just like all the time moving around. It's crazy.
It's getting you ready for today's college football is what it's doing.
That's what it is.
It's mentally and emotionally preparing you to go ahead and hit the portal, because you can hit the portal and say, I've done this.
Been there, done it.
I'm good. Doesn't even matter. I'm fine.
Good to go.
Not worried about it.
Don't need it.
Former Auburn wide receiver Malcolm Simmons, Texas Tech. Is that a good fit for him, in your
Yes.
opinion?
I think he's a good player.
Alabama wide receiver transfer Jalen Hill, SMU. Good fit for him.
They throw it a lot.
Feels like with how Rhett moves the pieces also, he'll be able to line up, do some different things.
I don't think it's ever bad to be a receiver in that offense.
Okay. Feels like a good one. Tight end Preston Howard. Going back to do it all over. Maryland, Auburn, back to Maryland.
Merlin like the wizard.
So he hit that portal of Oz.
Got to
right
admit,
back home.
don't remember a whole lot about his season last year.
There wasn't much to remember.
Okay.
Uh,
Not trying to be hateful. Just I
No, you're
just
not.
don't remember
No,
him being like,
the-
what a loss.
that position didn't give Auburn much last year.
No.
Justice Haynes, Miami, Michigan, is going to play at Georgia Tech next year. I don't know why, but I feel like this is just an odd move. And I'm not saying it's good for him, bad for him, good for Tech, bad for Tech. It's a talented player. We know that.
And they have great success with the guys named Haynes.
That must have been it.
Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, now Justice Haynes.
Do we need to do top 5 Haynes of all time?
Now they need to just go and get the defensive coordinator from Indiana, Brian Haynes, and they'll be in great shape.
Not spelled the same, but
Doesn't matter.
no, it doesn't. Top 5 Haynes all time. The underwear or the undershirt?
Got to be up
Yeah,
there.
all cotton.
Yeah.
They anything made of cotton, Haynes makes it. What else?
Anyone? I think we just knocked out half of them.
Not a ton.
Don't have much to choose from there. We had a lot of luck yesterday with most popular of individual names. Greg McElroy, 23rd all time.
Greg's and Cole's,
Greg?
yeah.
Yep. Trying to think of some other Haynes. You got the Haynes team at the end of the football game when you try to recover an onside kick.
You got the dad jokes going today. I'll
What's
give
wrong
you
with
credit for that.
I mean, that one feels right.
Most famous people with the last name Haynes, Warren Haynes. Anyone take a guess?
Ah,
Musician.
it's always a musician.
Not always.
A lot of the time.
Roy Haynes, Todd Haynes, Desmond Haynes.
I hadn't seen the tape.
I'm throwing this list out. Mike Haynes is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I don't know.
We're searching today. Oof.
Johnny Haynes is plays for Fulham FC.
Don't know him.
He's one of British football's most outstanding inside forwards.
Love British football.
Speaking of that, I got some bad news for you.
Oh, no. Man, you have a new coach?
This is one that I almost feel like we probably should take an entire break to get everybody ready to mentally hear what's taking place. The European Football Alliance terminates its cooperation with ELF.
Wait, so
the ELF is no longer going to be supported by EFA.
I was going to say, isn't the European Football Alliance the ELF?
The ELF is one of the greatest contributors to Bad Box Score of the day that we have.
It's true.
We don't need this to go away because it comes in a point in the calendar when there's not a lot there. We need the ELF League to stay. If we lose the ELF, I don't know what we're going to do.
Fair.
We need him on the shelf. So
Confirm.
I don't know what the EFA is thinking here. I don't know who they think they are, but nonetheless, The elf needs to stay.
Why is the EFA so full of themselves? Coming up next on Mac and Cube.
They know ball, or at least they think they do.
Yes.
Nasir Addison announces he'll be back with Kentucky. That'll help the defense next year. Will not be run by Brad White anymore. And in a massive portal move,
Massive.
Baylor transfer kicker Connor Hawkins is committed to Ohio State. I told you Ohio State was going all in.
This is their year.
I tried to tell you Ohio State is pulling no punches in the portal.
None, son.
37 of 37 on extra points. Tell me how excited you are now.
All it takes is one.
18 to 22 on field goals, a long of 54.
I mean, their kicker did miss some big kicks down the.
Of another player when you tell me that a kicker is perfect on PATs. Like Carson Beck is handoffs.
Yeah, no fumbled snaps.
He is 1,001 of 1,001 on snaps under center this year.
Your car's perfect in starting.
Like that.
Love it.
Every time you hit your turn signal, the light actually flashed.
But when it doesn't, ooh.
You're in trouble.